Today I have a very interesting topic. We had a very amazing group session this week about the topic of abundance. And since this seems to be a very interesting topic for people, and also what I see is that a lot of people are who are on next elevations have the abundance enhancer. So it's basically one of the two most purchased one. So it just means it's a very important topic for everybody, and this is also why I want to talk about it today. Abundance. So what do I need with abundance? So abundance is when we have everything what we need in the present moment. So it's very simple. Everything what we need in the present moment. So every moment, unfolds, life unfolds, every day unfolds, and basically what we need, food, housing, ideas from people, certain books, certain items, a car, a ride, like whatever it is, it just comes in when it's needed. So this is basically the definition I always get from the energies about abundance. So it's really what we need in the present moment. And why are we not constantly connected to abundance is because the fun thing is, or the interesting part is that when we incarnate on Earth, abundance is just part of, let's say, the true nature, and it's just there for everybody all the time anyways. So we incarnate and abundance is there. And then there are reasons why we stop experiencing abundance all the time. So we just gather or collect different limitations throughout lifetimes, right? So all sorts of different ones. The ones that usually are there in place, for example, coming in from parents, we learn from parents how we are supposed to, like, how we like our relationship to money, for example, or the relationship to buying certain things, the relationship to what we can do and what we cannot do. So these energies are basically all cutting us off abundance. Just to give a few examples, some people, let's talk about money because this is always like the most important one for people, although abundance also means like abundance of health, abundance of information. There's a lot more to that. But let's talk about money. Buying certain things, and then there are certain limitations. For example, it's too expensive or it's too cheap. It doesn't really matter, what it is. It's just an energy playing out that we learned either from parents, from school, from the media, just from society, and energy that's present in the collective. So whatever it is, it's just playing out. And then we act on it. So we buy certain items because we think we can afford them, and other items we don't buy, for example, because we can't afford them. We think we have to save money because there might be times when there is not enough there. So we like have a lot of money on the bank account, and or we try to save it at least. But then there are also energy patterns where people just spend money all the time. They get money in the beginning of the month and then they spend it, and there is none there in the end of the month. So it's basically just all energies playing out. And then what we experience is a lack. So a lack of money, a lack of the things we want coming in. And this is really the problem. So the energy of lack, and it comes, there are a lot of other energies in place, like fear and worries about the future, worries that we can't afford certain things, that eventually we can't pay the rent, we can't buy foods, we can't go on vacation. All sorts of energies are just there. And it's really about clearing and healing those energies, like with everything, because when they leave, then we have a neutral relationship to money or to other things. But like I said, I talk about money. And then we basically just have everything what we need in the present moment. And when we need something, it just is there and the limitation is gone. And this is the big difference. So when we come from lack and fear, we limit ourselves of seeing certain possibilities and getting certain things that are actually there, just because we limit ourselves. Yeah, and how can we connect to the energy of abundance? So basically, when our system is open and expanded and the work we do here, we are connected to that energy. It's part of the life energy. It just flows through our system. And if you feel, okay, but I'm still not experiencing abundance, then it's a possibility to look into these limitations. So you could use this topic, if this is an important one for you, and look, okay, where is it limiting me? Like, what do I believe it's true, or where do I feel in my system there is contraction, that I'm not fully living it? So easy examples. For example, you go in the store and like, what kind of food do you buy? Do you buy the cheap option? Do you buy the organic expensive option? Just observe yourself, like what you're doing, and why don't you buy another option that you would actually prefer? For example, do you go to a restaurant where you really like the food, or you don't go there because it's expensive and you go to a cheaper one? These are just examples. Or you buy an item online, or you go to a retreat or something like that, or you don't because of certain limitations. Oh, I can't afford this, I have to save the money because there might something bad happening in the future and then I can't go there. So it's basically a possibility to look into, to use this topic to again heal and clear more limitations that we have in our system, and then we get free of it. And then it's just, when we're connected to abundance and limitations are gone, it's really simple. As I said in the beginning, everything is provided in the present moment, and then we open to see it, so we can actually see it and we can use it. And it doesn't really matter if it's money, if it's information, if it's somebody helping, and then everything manifests so quickly. So for example, when you're like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, but my fridge is empty. And then when you live in abundance, like your neighbor knocks on the door and it's like, I just made this beautiful lunch and I have too much. Do you want to join me? Just an example, this is then happening because life is unfolding in the present moment, and whatever we need is coming in. And it often seems then, so at first it might seem like a little miracle, things are just coming in. Oh my God, this is a miracle. But then eventually it's just normal. It's just, this is how it works. It's just there all the time. Yeah, and if you feel you need support in this area, like I said before, there is a group session every now and then I offer, where we just work on these specific limitations, and also where you can connect to this energy, that you can get a feel of it. And then also, of course, next elevations, there is this enhancer of abundance. And yeah, just try it if you want. And it comes in, and it also helps to heal and clear the blockages, and also it helps you to get aware of where they are. Yeah, and then just very quickly also, I just want to share that there is a difference between manifesting, because a lot of people then have this understanding, abundance and manifestation. So I manifest certain things. So I sit down, I think about something, I meet the vibration of it, and then, this comes into my life. This is a possibility. A lot of people are practicing this, and just see for yourself if it's working. For some people it's working, for some people not. But this is really okay. You come from a lack. So you come from an energy of lack, for example, the fear of not having enough money. And then you manifest, let's say, a certain amount. You want to manifest that, and then it might show up, it might not show up, but it comes actually from the energy of fear, or fear of the future, fear of not having enough, or whatever. It just comes from that lack. And what we want to clear the lack energy, so that it just doesn't come up in the first place, and everything you need just comes in. So this is just the difference of manifesting certain items, and because it always depends on where you're coming from doing this work. Why are you wanting to manifest specific things? Is it coming from lack? Because most of the times, if you double check, it will. Not all, of course, every time, but a lot of times. So yeah, it's something you can look into for yourself. What I really recommend is connecting to abundance, which is there anyways for everybody who's doing this work, and then clearing energies that are in the way. Yeah, and it's basically as simple as that. And then when abundance is unlocked or there, it's really cool, because over time, it's not something you think about anymore. Like it's just that you're provided, it's just there. There's not even trust needed that this is there. It's just something natural, unfolding. You don't think about it, and you can use your energy for a lot of other things. So not worrying or not manifesting or, yeah, feeding energy patterns that are outdated. Okay, so this is the sharing here for today. Thank you very much for listening. And yeah, I'd say let's start with the meditation. And after that, I will answer some questions if there are any.